Namo Phat. Thanks so much for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This wonderful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. For our Dharma lessons, we've been reading More Than Mindfulness, Widening the Field of Practice by the Monastics of the Thai Forest Sangha. We're continuing today in a talk by Ajahn Ahimsako called Returning the Light. Going back to that other phrase, return the light, I asked our good friend Reverend Heng Shui about this phrase. He's one of the most senior disciples of Master Hua, who I mentioned a few minutes ago. There's a lovely book about Reverend Heng Shui's bowing pilgrimage. In the 1970s, he and another monk did a bowing pilgrimage from Los Angeles to Ukiah. It took 2.5 to 3 years. 3 steps, 1 bow. 3 steps and 1 bow, all the way up the California coast. They put together a book of letters of written correspondence between them and their teacher, Master Hua. In the book, many times the phrase, return the light, appeared. I kept pondering and reflecting on that outward energy that I've been speaking about this evening. I've read the book a few times and find it very inspiring. For years I've been meaning to ask Reverend Heng Shui, what does return the light actually mean? In June last year I was in Berkeley. Reverend Heng Shui was there and I asked, what does it mean, return the light? I told him what I thought it meant, to reflect inwards. He said I was right, but that there are 3 main ways that their communities use the phrase. One is more ordinary. For instance, maybe you're having a conversation with somebody who says something difficult to you or who criticizes you, and you say, return the light. Almost like, look at yourself or check yourself out before you come and complain to me. That use of return the light has a pejorative negative sense, like watch your own mind. Another meaning is the one that I offered up, to reflect or look inward. The Dhamma practice of using our meditative tools to look at how experience affects us, and for us to develop that ability to let go of the things that bind us, that obstruct us, that create suffering. But Reverend Heng Shui went on to say that the third way to use this phrase has a more esoteric or hidden meaning, and it's the one that they use the most. He and his companion used it a lot on their bowing pilgrimage because of having so much sense contact. There they are, out on the side of the highway. They weren't bowing through the forest. They were bowing through Los Angeles. They were bowing up Highway 1, through Santa Monica, through all those towns, through San Francisco. A lot went on. They were doing this for many hours a day, and they would rest, and then they would rest in the evening. He said they would use that phrase, return the light, because of the energy of going out. And for me, it relates to Luang Por Dunay's talking about the mind sent outside. That mind getting drawn outwards, going outside and grabbing. Reverend Heng Shui said that in the evenings they would meditate, chant, and translate sutras. They would return the light. Using mindfulness practices, they would bring the energy back in. It appeared to me to be a key part of their practice. For all of us, whether we're living in a monastery or elsewhere in the broader community, We experience many things and can get busy externally, or experiences can affect us internally only. For instance, as mentioned earlier, some members of the monastic community travel and things will affect us. Like my example of a recent trip. 36 hours after the winter retreat, I was sitting in the airport. There was a lot of sensory input, and it definitely had an effect. So sitting down at the end of your day, maybe you've experienced a lot of activity during the day. As meditators, we try to keep a regular meditation practice, sitting down at different times of the day if we can, even if it's just for a few minutes. We check in. What's the experience right now? Have I picked up anything during the day? Have I sent my mind out? Is my mind inhabiting something outside of that center, that peaceful stillness, that stability, that ability to remain steady that we hopefully develop in our lives, the quality of knowing that can see all things arising and ceasing in consciousness? Sit down, and if we are a bit spun out, return the light. What got sent out? Where can it come back to? Can we cut that quality of mind that's been sent out, that's grabbing, trying to keep or get? Can I return that energy? These are the ways of using language to reflect on the Buddha's teachings. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.